Chapter 4, Section 3, Dividing Polynomials. When you divide a polynomial by a non-zero polynomial divisor, you get a quotient polynomial with a remainder, possibly. The degree of the remainder must be less than the degree of the divisor when the remainder is 0. The divisor divides evenly into the dividend. So if you don't have anything left over, it went evenly. The degree of the divisor is also less than or equal to the degree of the dividend. Find a way, or one way to divide polynomials is called polynomial long division. So all they're talking about here is that we're going to take one polynomial and divide it by another. We've already done adding and subtracting and multiplying, so we know what happens when we multiply two of them together, we get a bigger one. Well, if we take that big one and we divide it by one of those, we should get the other. Okay? It's kind of like when you take 2 and multiply by 5 and you get 10. Well, if you divide 10 by 5, you get 2. That's what we're going to do. So let's refresh our minds on what long division looks like. We'll do it with just plain old numbers. So solve 1,536 divided by 12 using long division. Okay? Some of you might remember this. Goes about like this. You write the 12 on the outside, just a little thicker. And you write the 1536 inside. And you see, okay, this is like, a 10's worth. It's got 2 places, so we're going to go 2 places in, and we're going to see how many times does 12 go into 15 if it does at all. It goes in 1 time. So we drop our 12, and then we subtract or add the opposite. Same difference. Okay, if we subtract 12 or add negative 12 means the same thing. So 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. Then we drop our 3. I like to put the arrow, keeps track of where I'm going. How many times does 12 go into 33? Well, if it goes twice, it'd be 24. 3 times is 36. 36 is too much, so it only goes twice. It's 24. We're going to subtract. 3 minus 4 doesn't work. We're going to have to do that borrow thing. 13 minus 4 is 9. 2 minus 2 is 0. Then we bring down our 6. 12 into 96. Well, that's 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. With a remainder of 0. Let's do the next one. Solve 1730 divided by 8. So put the 8 in. 1730. 8 goes into 1. No. 8 goes into 17. Yes, it goes twice, which is 16. And 7 minus 6 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Drop the 3. 8 goes into 13 only once, because twice is 16. It's too much, so we take the 8. Borrow. 13 minus 8 is 5. Drop the 0. It's 50. Okay. 8 goes into 50. Let's see. 5 times is 40. 6 times is 48. That's just below. So we'll do 6 times is 48. And we get a 2. Now we've run out of numbers to drop down. Now if you're getting exact and you're going to go into decimal places, you could add a decimal place, throw a 0 on there, drop it down, and keep going. But if you don't do the decimal places, then we have 2 left over. So 8 goes into 1,730 216 times with 2 eighths left over. Okay? You take it fractionally with a remainder of 2. But it's 2, and then we would divide it by 8, but 2 doesn't divide by 8. So we just do a fraction. And we could reduce that 216 and 1/4. Right? We add them together. We're going to apply this same thing to a polynomial. We're going to divide 2x to the 4th plus 3x to the 3rd plus 5x minus 1 by x squared plus 3x plus 2. So we're going to take this one and divide it by that one. This goes on the outside. This is on the inside. And it's called long division, so it's not short. But it's the same process. Now, some things you have to be careful of. You need all of the degrees counting down. So we've got 4, we've got 3, we've got 1, we've got 0, 2 is missing. So we need some x squared in there. We don't have any x squared, so we have 0 x squared. And we're going to have to put that placeholder in there. We need everybody in line. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Same thing with the deal on the outside. We've got 2, we've got 1, we've got x to the 0. They're all there. So we're going to write x squared plus 3x plus 2. That goes on the outside. And on the inside is 2x to the 4th plus 3x to the 3rd plus 0x squared. We need that placeholder. I did it in a different color so you can see it. Plus 5x minus 1. And we're going to do the same process we did back on this screen. We had to see how many times does 12 go into 15. Well, into 1, and it doesn't. And so we went to 15, and it does. Same thing with the 8. It doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 17. That's what we're doing. So with the 12, we're looking for the 2. Does it go into it? Same thing here. We're going to pay attention to this piece. Okay. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3 spots in. 1, 2, 3 spots in. Okay. And actually, I lied. We're going to pay attention to this piece, because we want the first thing in each one to go away. Just like we did back over here, the 1s went away. The 1 went away. Okay? All of those kinds of, the 1s went away. The 3 and the 2 went away. The 9s went away. We want that 10's place to go away. So we want that to happen here. So we have to ask ourselves, what would we multiply x squared by so that we get 2x to the 4th? Okay? And we're going to write our answer 3 spaces in. So we have 1x squared, and we need 2x to the 4th. From 1 to get to 2, we have to multiply by a 2. And for x squared, to get to x to the 4th, we have to multiply by an x squared. And what's really nifty is, if you notice, they line up. Okay? I like to write them that way. So now we multiply it times all 3 parts and write it underneath. So 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the 4th. And 3x times 2x squared is 6x to the 3rd, and it's positive. And 2 times 2x squared is 4x squared. Now what we're going to do is we're going to subtract that whole thing. This is why we did adding, subtracting, multiplying first. When we subtract, remember, we're going to keep the top piece and we're going to change to plus, and we're going to change the sign of everybody inside. We're going to take them all away. Okay? So 0 minus 4x squared is negative 4x squared. 3x to the 3rd minus 6x to the 3rd is negative 3x to the 3rd. And 2x to the 4th minus 2x to the 4th is no x to the 4th. That zeroes out. Good. Now we drop down the next piece, plus 5x. Now we're looking at, what do we multiply by to get here? Well, I have an x squared, and I need it to be negative 3, so I'm going to multiply by a negative 3, but I've only got x squared, and it needs to be x to the 3rd, so I got to put an x, and notice they line up again. So negative 3x times x squared is negative 3x to the 3rd. That's going to go away when we change the signs. Negative 3x times 3x is negative 9x squared. Negative 3x and 2 is negative 6x. And now we're going to subtract the whole thing. So we're going to change all the signs. Add down. It's 11x. Negative 4x squared and 9x squared is 5x squared. And negative 3x to the 3rd and 3x to the 3rd goes 0. Those cancel out. And we're going to drop down our last piece. So How do we get to 5x squared from x squared? We multiply by a 5. 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times 2 is 10. And then instead of subtract, we're going to add the opposites. Negative 1 and negative 10 is negative 11. 11x and negative 15x is negative 4x. 5x squared and negative 5x squared goes to 0. This is my leftovers. It did not go nicely. Okay, it's like if you tried to divide 10 by 4, it doesn't go into it nicely. 2 does, 4 doesn't. So we have a remainder. So here's how we write our answer. 2x squared minus 3x plus 5, that's this part. And then we pull in the remainder. So we say plus negative 4x minus 11 divided by, what were we dividing by? X squared plus 3x plus 2. That's the answer, isn't that? Okay? It's big. It's a monster. It's Algebra 2. That's how it goes. All right, here's 2 different examples. Try them both. See what you can come up with. Give the video pause. Write these down. Try them. Come back. See what the answer is. Okay. So, we're dividing by x minus 1. What are we dividing? It's to the first to the 0. We're all there. 3, 2, 1, right? 3, 2, 1, 0. Everybody's there. So x to the third minus x squared minus 2x plus 8. Okay, 2 spots, 2 spots. I'm going to put the answer starting right here. I'm going to need an x squared. I know it has to be an x squared because it's 2 spots in is above the x squared and the columns line up. So x squared times x is x to the third. I didn't need any numbers, just 1 times 1. X squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. Okay? We're going to subtract or add the opposites. X squared negative x squared plus x squared is 0. X to the third minus x to the third is 0. And then we bring down our negative 2x. Okay, so we technically don't have anything right there. We just got negative 2x. That's like 12 trying to go into 1, or 8 trying to go into 1. X minus 1 doesn't go into a thing with only one part. So we put a 0. It doesn't go. Then we drop down our next one. This one was tricky. It's all right. That's why we do it. We learn from the things that are hard. Now we've got 2 parts. So what do we multiply the x by to get to negative 2x? We're going to multiply by negative 2. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 1 makes positive 2. And we're going to add the opposites. Add down. 8 and negative 2 makes 6. Negative 2x and 2x cancels to 0, right? That's what happened to these guys back up here. We can cross them off if you want to. So we have some leftovers. So our answer is x squared, we don't have to put the 0, minus 2 plus 6 over x minus 1. The remainder always gets added and divided by what you were dividing by. All right, let's look at number 2. Okay, we're going to take, and I'm going to change colors here so we can tell the difference. Let's see, 2, 1, 0, all there. 4, 2, I need a 3, 1, 0. So I got to put in a placeholder for 3. So x squared minus x plus 1. And I'm going to do x to the fourth plus 0x to the third plus 2x squared minus x plus 5. Don't forget your placeholder. Everybody counting down. I'm going to start 3 spots in, starting right above x squared. So I know my answer is going to have some x squared in it. So what times x squared gives you x to the fourth? Just plain old x squared does. So x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. X squared times negative x is negative x to the third. X squared times 1 is x squared. And we're going to add the opposites. Change all the signs. 0. 0 and 1 makes x to the third. 2x squared and negative x squared makes just an x squared, and then we're going to drop the negative x. What times x squared gives you x to the third? X does, and it's in the right column. It's lined up. X times x squared is x to the third. X times negative x is negative x squared. X times 1 is x. We're going to add the opposite, also known as subtracting. Goes 0. X squared and x squared is 2x squared. Negative x and negative x is negative 2x. And we're going to drop the 5. Almost out of room. Long division. What times x squared is 2x squared? Well, 2 is, and it needs to be a number because it's above the constant column. Okay. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times negative x is negative 2x. 2 times 1 is 2. And we're going to add the opposite. Change everybody's sign. 0. 0. 5 minus 2 is 3. Excuse me. So our answer is x squared plus x plus 2 plus 3 divided by x squared minus x plus 1. Did not go in wholly. Sometimes it'll go in nice and whole, and then you know that those both are factors of the original polynomial. We'll get to that later as we get into solving, because we'll need that to happen for us. But that's the long division. Long division works with any polynomial divided by any smaller polynomial. It does have to be at least a degree less. Otherwise, it won't divide. Okay? So